It
We
is
are
Monday
live.
night.
Sketchy Live Monday. You've made it. It's Sketchy Live Monday, the podcast. Hey, we're going to talk about all kinds of crazy stuff tonight. Not crazy stuff, but some stuff that's, it's pretty.
We've been talking about it.
It's been stuff we've kind of talked about all over the weekend. So we're super
We
excited
have.
to talk about that, share how our weekend went.
Yes.
All kinds of good stuff. Some more updates on the Rose Project, Kona Project. Different stuff. We hope you'll hang out with us. I'm Johnny Jalopy. That's Eddie B. This is Sketchy Live Monday, the podcast. Hey, it's Sketchy Live Monday, the podcast. I am John Jalopy, hot rod artist, garage fabricator guy, now doing my own deal, wrenching and gearing and all kinds of great stuff. We're sure excited that you're here. With me, as always, the talented, the beautiful, the sexy, the vivacious, beanie wearing beauty. It's Eddie B.
Hey, guys.
What's going on, Eddie B?
Oh, not much.
Hey, good to see you.
Yeah. It's been a bit.
How was your weekend?
It was great.
Yeah, we did have a good time.
We did.
We didn't get to do as much car stuff as I would have liked to if I was working, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, we still wrenched on some stuff on Friday, so that was
you
cool.
you had some victories.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that in a sec, and then of course we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. Tonight's topic, just to give you kind of guys a heads up, unless you want to do the intro on that part.
Well, it's basically where did all the car shows
Where'd
go?
all the car shows go? I mean, Motor Trend's got car shows right now.
Yeah.
And
There's a few.
There's some other outlying. I think Velocity still happens and stuff like that. But where did you mean? Remember when there was a ton
back in the day?
A ton of them.
Yeah.
And now it feels like there's a few, and there's not as many.
And we have some ideas on what happened, maybe why it happened.
Maybe a little inside baseball action.
I didn't contact any of these people and be like, "Hey, why'd you just go off the air?"
I thought you were personally contacted Wayne Carini,
No.
and you were like, "Hey, Wade, what's going on, man? What happened
Hey, pal.
What happened to Counting Classic Cars?
Yeah.
.com.
Yeah.
But we plan to talk about all kinds of stuff, and we really love to get you involved in the conversation. This is Sketchy Live Monday, the podcast. Generally on Sketchy Live, we do a sketch.
Yes.
Of a hot rod, some kind of fun thing. We talk about movies, art, the culture, all kinds of different stuff. When we do our podcast, we try to pick a subject and we try to talk about it. And we'd love to get your input, your involvement, and again. So tonight's topics that we're going to talk about mainly is where did all those car shows go?
Well,
my favorites, man.
One thing we did talk about, because I had said to you, and I just had this happen today. Vehicle purchases, vehicle sales. A lot of these are happening online. And I think we talked about it in a prior episode, actually. I had a girl today call me for insurance. She wanted to remove a vehicle from her policy. And she said, "Let me send you the bill of sale." And it was from Carvana. She had gone online, took pictures of everything, gave them the mileage, took a screenshot of the mileage. They made her an offer. She accepted it. They literally transferred funds to her bank account,
right,
and came to pick up the car. Like, that's nuts to me.
I don't even know how you could do that.
I remember going with my dad to get my first car.
Oh, and so it wasn't a hand-me-down, it was a new car?
Well, no. I had the hand-me-down. My grandparents' 77 Nova, as we know, was my first car. I'm talking about my first car that I bought with my own money.
Then your dad was involved.
Yes.
Okay.
And because he was mechanically inclined, and I'm like, I want another set of eyes, a second set of eyes on this thing.
Right.
Really, a first set of eyes,
Yeah.
because I had no idea what I was looking for. So I can't imagine buying something sight unseen.
It's crazy that they do. But we're going to get into that topic, and we're going to talk about much more. But that was a good jump. I mean, that's kind of where our conversation started. Is just even information on new cars and different things now is so much different the way we gather information.
I would feel better buying a brand new car from a website and having it delivered.
Yeah.
Only because of the warranty situation. I mean, that's basically what I did with my Jeep.
Yeah.
I bought it before I saw it.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, I know you did.
But it was brand new.
And I thought you were out of your mind.
How is it any different than buying it off the lot?
What do you mean? I get to see it,
also brand new.
Touch it, taste it, feel it, drive it, all that kind of stuff.
Well, I did get to test drive it.
But you'd already bought it.
I did.
So it was yours.
It was already mine. So I guess in a way, I kind of already
did the same thing.
But it was a brand new car.
We did the same thing. Who's on the broadcast tonight, DDP?
Yes, let me tell you.
And then we'll get into that.
We have Howard Pierpont joining us from Mineola,
Texas.
84 degrees and clear.
What's going on, Howard Pierpont?
Our brother from Detroit, Shaggy LeBlanc.
Shaggy LeBlanc, the hardest working man in show business.
How are y'all doing? I miss you guys. We miss you
Hey,
too.
man, we miss all you guys.
They just had a great car show this past weekend. Lots of fun and antics going on.
Some antics and
we
some
always
antics.
miss the fun.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Paul Marziani, hey guys, the rain stopped in Bradenton. Well, you've sent it up this way because
Bradenton Motorsports.
We just had a huge downpour here.
I hear at Bradenton Motorsports they'll sell you the whole chair, but you'll only need the edge.
It's the whole seat.
Whatever.
Jim Pollen, our buddy Jim Pollen.
Hobo's Hot Rod Garage
in Horseheads, New York.
What's going on?
Hello. Diane Kinnery. Hi, you two. Kinnery's here. Still hot in Illinois. It was 92 today. Will be even hotter tomorrow and higher humidity. Nasty. Yeah. Welcome to our world, Diane. This is what it is here.
Hot and sticky.
We've got Chris Smolinski joining us.
What's up,
welcome,
Chris?
Sir. George Makart. Hey, kids. Just rolled in from the shop. I don't know if you saw earlier, but George followed our Word with Friends podcast.
So cool that you're ahead checking that out.
Yeah.
We have another podcast as well. Yeah,
we do.
Thanks for the support.
Dan Evans is joining us, our brother Dan from Dunedin, Florida. Welcome. We love you. Hal Schaefer, alive from Georgia. Real deal. How about it, Carburetor Man? Welcome, sir.
Joe.
Rob Earl, our good buddy from Down Under.
He's from Down Under.
Good near high noon Tuesday to you, Itty B and Johnny, from a gorgeous late winter's day, 82 degrees Fahrenheit in the Hunter Valley, Australia.
Nice.
How is that a winter's day?
Good on you.
How is that a winter's day? Oh, Craig Banks joining us. We lost our Carl Casper Auto Show in 2017 for over 50 years here in Louisville, Kentucky. Casper family got old and didn't want their name out there anymore. So now we have a World of Wheels from Indy putting on a show.
Okay.
It is a poor car show.
Oh.
What does that mean?
I don't know I think he means not good.
Oh.
What did you think? When someone says it's a poor car show, that's a poor bowl of soup. You go, oh, that sounds good. that's what you were saying.
No, I didn't know if maybe it was like.
What were you thinking there, Eddie B? I think it was another one of we just caught her again at the classic famous Eddie B. She wasn't listening to her own words that she was reading and then went, oh, poor, that sounds fun.
I don't know how World of Wheels from Indy would put on a bad show. I thought maybe
it's possible.
Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe poor means good. Maybe it's like
no, it's not.
It's not
a slang. It's not the slang.
Bad. Yeah, that means good.
Nobody goes, oh, dude, what a poor choice of words. It's not good. Good.
Lizzie Daughtry. Hello, my two favorite peeps of the week. Welcome. We've got Scott Ferguson from Ferg's Rod Shop joining us. Hey, y'all.
Ferg. Rod Shop.
We've got Cameron.
Hello,
McNulty.
me daughter. Wish my Amy girl. Tomorrow's her birthday.
Right. Little baby girl.
She's going to be 64 years old.
Yeah. We've got Lizzie Daughtry giving her youtube.com is Butterfree34. She just recently, I mean, and maybe she's done this before, but I only saw it just recently, has these really cool resin skulls.
Nice.
They're like, I don't know, they look about this big.
Yeah.
Go check it out because that's, we've got Halloween coming up and they were pretty cool. Calman Carisi is joining us. Hello. Welcome.
Frank Papello from Daytona Beach.
What's he doing up there?
Daytona 500.
Oh, really? Is it right now?
I think it's beginning of racing.
Oh.
Yeah. Couillon Customs in Daheasy.
Did you see that truck they had? I tagged you in and I was like,
and
I want this.
And everybody was like, I thought you wanted a Chevy.
At this point, I don't care.
Oh, okay.
I don't care.
Right on.
I don't care. Frank Pupello said the birthplace of racing.
That's right, Daytona. I'd like to go do that tour sometime.
What? We did. We've been all over that racetrack.
The tour of the Daytona 500, where they give the tour. The tour.
The tour of what?
The Daytona 500.
We've been in the pits.
Okay, but that's not the tour and telling you all the stuff.
We've given our own.
Again,
tour.
I appreciate the history of things and want to know more instead of pretending.
Go to a museum.
It's a racing museum, you dork.
Craig Banks said new cars 2025 and older back 10 years are all you see at the car shows. The older car owners are too old to mess taking care of the true hot rods. Too much upkeep for them to still do. Okay, so that's why it's poor.
Well, make sure you talk to those guys, and any of them would like to release their vehicles for a small fee. Hit me up, and I'd love to have a couple, maybe some freebies. That'd be good. Anyways.
Howard Pierpont said Motor Trend Go was purchased by Discovery Go. Part of the issue is the settle in process. Motor Trend is listing 50 car shows.
Well, maybe. But how many are in still production and aren't reruns and that kind of thing too? I bet out of those 50, there's a pretty good high percentage that are no longer in production.
Lizzie's giving us a thumbs up on the YouTube channel.
Nice, thank you.
For anyone watching, we are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. Mike Williams, hello from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Welcome, sir. Rob said it doesn't get below 70 degrees there in the winter. I've never seen snow in my entire 58 years.
Oh, okay.
Crazy. Craig said we still have Hot Rod Nationals here in Louisville, but this year was half of entries from past years because they don't do a car giveaway, maybe. Wesley Wilkerson said it's fun pretending I'm part of a live audience in front of Johnny Jalopy. You are. This is a live audience.
We're doing this live. The only thing we're missing is like the applause. Oh, we do have that. Hold on. Oh, it was like the applause track.
Which one?
Oh, wrong one.
There you have it. It's pretty loud. Craig said car giveaway just now, a $5,000 cash for first, second, third place. That ain't bad though. That's not a bad giveaway for a car show.
Yeah, no.
Riff Driven. Hi, it's Dana.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm glad he said something.
Yeah.
I would have forgotten already. We just went over this last week.
Yeah, who's this new Riff Driven guy?
Phil Krantz, Fireball Phil here. Finally remembered to tune in. Hi, Shaggy.
What's up, Fireball Phil?
Welcome.
Well, welcome everybody to the broadcast. We got lots to talk about tonight.
Yes. So again, let's get back to
well, you're talking about this before we go any further. You started talking about the buying online and purchasing a car online and how crazy that is.
Not realizing that I have done it.
Yeah, I don't know. Me personally, I'm leery. I'm leery enough just buying stuff on Amazon.
Yeah.
Of anything of really big value. I'm like, I want to see it and touch it and feel it and know it. A car seems there's too much, especially older car.
Older cars for sure. A used car I would not buy.
I don't know how people do it or would trust that, unless you could send somebody to go take a look at it and that kind of thing. And sure, they're taking. Listen, I know the new websites and things that they're taking a lot of photos, thousands of photos.
Yeah,
like that street. There's an old classic car dealership near us, Street something or other, and there's thousands of pictures of the classic car itself.
Right.
So you can really get a good look at it, but still, there's one thing to look at a panel and then to rub your hand across it and feel it or see. Oh, it's a little rust on the bumper, and then you look underneath and it's completely falling apart and that kind of stuff. And you want to see everything. I think I don't know, but there's people that do it. And I mean, that'll roll us into our next subject, but there are people that buy cars with a sight unseen, and then that's a whole thing, so
Right.
I don't know how they do it. Even what you did, I couldn't do it.
Brian Kendall said online shopping killed my motorcycle shop. I mean, and this is what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Everything is online now.
Yeah,
Like I feel like eventually there's not even going to be car dealerships.
Yeah, I agree with you. There'll be a centralized website, kind of like what Carvana's doing, which is it's a centralized place that they list all the cars. You can go. I mean, by this time, who's to say you won't have a 3D platform in your living room that you can do a virtual walk through the car, but still, it's not the same. I guess we're so old. But imagine, yeah, even our folks when they had to go to a car lot.
Yeah.
Or
Or
it
a private
was
person.
but that was more of a, hey, I know Dave's selling his Chevy. Let's go
Right.
take
You
a
wouldn't
look
go
at
to
it.
somebody you didn't trust. Although, how long has Auto Shopper been around? Because I remember
You mean
that
Auto
back.
Trader?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I mean, they've had that was back to the classified ads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we've been where you're running an ad, but Auto Trader's been around for a while, but not forever. And before that,
I remember it back in the 70s.
Before that, it was in the newspaper, classified ads of like people selling their cars, or you go to the grocery store and there'd be somebody with a picture of their car.
Yeah.
Or you drive your neighborhoods and you would see cars, or you go to a car show and see somebody selling it. But generally, if you were buying, a newer used car, you were going to a car dealership, and it's still a crapshoot. But at least you could touch it. I don't know.
This doesn't even say when Auto Trader started.
Yeah, I don't know.
Published date. I want to see because I remember it when I was young.
Yeah.
When did Auto Trader come out? Oh, 1997? No way.
Yeah.
No way.
That's about right.
No. Really? No, autotrader.com was
Yeah, there you go.
1997. Okay.
It was a book before that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
25 years. Yeah, it doesn't really say.
Yeah, Dan Evans is saying I'd want to check the condition of the oil, and yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
The things you want
fluids.
to touch and feel and things like that. I just, man.
He said that tells me a lot.
Yeah.
Howard said you got to touch Rose and she hasn't been without issues.
Oh, true. I'm not saying
he had that thing bought before he went and saw it. That wasn't even
right.
You talk about buying sight unseen. Well, it really was.
But I wasn't. But here's the thing: I wasn't buying a car that I expected that I was going to just turn the key and take off and drive thousands and thousands of miles in, or that was going to be my daily driver.
Well, that's something we're going to talk about too.
Yeah.
Howard said only so many can be in production at one time. New viewers haven't seen the older episodes, including Johnny Jalopy on Full Custom. Yeah. That's true. Craig said local car shows are going away mostly because of not having a safe place to do it or easy parking. Mostly at fast food places, they put them on, but mostly brand new cars show up. And I think because we talked about this before too,
car shows
more and more of the car shows are becoming, hey, just bring your car, which it's like an all-inclusive thing, which is fine. But usually you will see the newer cars all parked together, the older cars all parked together. So there's little sections. And, if somebody says, oh, we're doing a Corvette show, clearly we're not going to show up.
Well, I think, again, don't misunderstand the two differences between a cruise-in and a car show.
That's true. That's true. Mike said, are y'all going to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee for the Rod Run, September 12th? I wish.
We wish.
I wish, but no.
One of these years we're gonna get our crap together, and we're gonna make some of these shows that you people are letting us know about, because it would be awesome.
We would love to. It's not for not wanting to go, because we definitely want to go. We need to. Our day jobs need to be like non-existent. Howard Pierpont said, my sister was the classified ad manager for Hemmings until she retired. That's
nice,
cool.
Yeah.
Craig said, went to a Jeep dealer for brochure on new Jeeps. They laughed at me and said it's all on the internet now.
Yeah, that's
story.
Shoot, even the owner's manual and all the different stuff. It's all they're like, hey, just go to the website, download it.
That's how we figured out how I figured out to do my Jeep top.
Yeah,
because it's way different than the one you used to have. So we had to figure it out. Went on YouTube. Roger Menard, Hemmings Motor News has been around forever.
Yeah, Hemmings, especially if you're looking for classic stuff. And that was one of those people that, because I think Hemmings is a little more expensive to put your ad in. So usually the people that were posting on a Hemmings were a lot more serious about selling it, and were less to be. It was more of a trusted place you could go to find a classic now. But there's always hidden things and things you don't think about. But still, I just can't imagine if I didn't know, or at least, I guess whoever said that about me going to get Rose, I looked at pictures and I just went off of the year, the condition it looked like in the photos, but I still didn't hand money until I had looked at it and drove it and then got it for less than what they were asking.
But you still came home with some surprises.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Phil Krantz said, "Are you guys coming up to Michigan for the 41st Frankenmuth Auto Fest, September 6th through 8th?"
Unfortunately, won't be
Cannot
making
do
that
it.
one either.
Nope. I know.
Yeah, we've got some family stuff going on this year that's happening, and then we also have this art show that's first for us going out of town, and there's a lot of stuff going on at my work, and a little bit of a transition in at home type stuff as far as leaving the dog and that kind of stuff. So there's been a few things that have made it a little more challenging this year, that we were still trying to get things in order, kind of, right?
Yeah. Speed and Shine TV, welcome.
Hey, what's going on?
He said, "Yeah, day jobs get in the way."
They sure do,
for sure. Howard Pierpont said, "My area would close down during the summer because of the heat. Average 3 shows a weekend, spring and fall."
Yeah, we're in the same boat here. There's some little car shows, and it's really a crapshoot of whether it'll happen because of the way the rain has been going on and stuff.
Honestly, the only shows that I've really seen have been the Volkswagen people pretty much get together on the beach.
There's been other shows that are going on.
Are they?
Some of them got rained out, and others.
Some of them are early morning. Like there's a lot of cars and coffee things going on.
Sure, but
down
there
here
are
by
actual
us.
car shows that are happening, and people are going out and sweltering in them and too hot.
Craig said cruises will be a thing in the past. In 10 years, all the old cars will be in private collections.
I hope not. That's why it's important. This is why we have what we have, this podcast, this channel, is to talk about it and keep the culture alive. We got to keep those automobiles on the road, and people got to keep driving them, and we've got to find new ways to get the young people involved, so that they're looking for the love and passion of owning an older car, and the fun and challenge and just amazingness that being a caretaker of an older vehicle brings. There's excitement, there's frustration, it's a gambit of every single emotion you can think of owning an old vehicle, and it's just amazing. It's so much fun.
So when you were driving, okay, you probably got your license late 80s.
Yeah.
So you're an old car to you, like a hand-me-down junker car to you, was what year? Maybe a 70s?
Well, my folks drove. So the car I got to drive here and there in high school was a 70s station wagon. So it was at least 10 years old.
And mine was a 77.
It might even been close to 10, 12, 15 years old. And then once I got we always had we'd never had brand new cars. So my from what I remember brain wise, my folks had like a 60 early 60s or late 60s or early 70s Torino. Then we went from the Torino to a Corvair, 60s Corvair. Then we had the 60 something station wagon. And then we had an 80s Chrysler Cordoba, and then we had my dad bought a 72 C10, the square body truck, and then he had bought a 79 Toyota pickup.
So the point that I was trying to make,
we've never had anything you do.
let's just say you were driving a 20-year-old car because that was a junker. It would be more like 10 to 15
in
years.
High school, I was at least 15 years
10
old.
to 15 years. So we're in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
10 years ago is a 2014.
Okay.
That's a computer car.
Please don't, because this is the thing that always used to even irritate me back then, which is, hey, my 80 something is a classic.
No, that's not what I'm
Okay.
saying. What I'm saying is these kids now who are driving and the parents are getting them a junker. The junker is a 10 to 15-year-old vehicle.
Yeah, but I don't think
and they're computerized. None of these cars are able to really be worked on
Sure they are.
at home.
Absolutely.
You think so?
Yes.
You don't think you have to bring it to a garage and run it on a computer?
Again, most kids nowadays don't want to drive a car, first of all. Second of all, most, at least in our area and the people that I see, no parents are buying their kids junker cars. And the younger kids that are running around in older cars, if you go and you ask them, their parents have older cars. So they have an appreciation for the older cars. Like these kids that are running around and revising the mini truck era is cool. And they're buying, their 80s Mazdas and stuff. So it's 80s, but it's definitely or the beginnings of computer, maybe. So you can still work on them.
I'm just thinking that if these young kids are getting cars now, they're not going to be your typical home mechanic people, because we were talking about that.
No, I get it. And that's why, yeah, I agree. Not to mention, cars for clunkers and all that, or cash for clunkers killed a ton of older cars that probably could have been some cool stuff for kids to drive. Yeah. And parents, but most parents aren't doing that. That I see all these kids around here are all driving new shit.
And is it just Johnny going online and Googling and going on YouTube to find out how to fix stuff and how's this put together? Or is everybody doing?
Based on the streaming systems that are out there, I can't be the only person that's looking up YouTube videos on how to do stuff.
No, and I
you were being facetious with that question?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm saying you're not the only one doing it. There's other people out there doing it for these cars that you can work on.
What input we getting from our folks?
Well, we've got Dan Evans said, I love his stories. When I was walking home from school when I was 15, I saw a 1957 Hillman Minx convertible for sale, $35. I just happened to have enough to buy it, so I did. Though I was 15 and didn't have a learner's permit yet, I got away with it and hid the car near the high school.
Nice. High five.
He's so funny. He's such a rebel. Craig Banks said, sorry, but the Gen X just don't get it. And we just don't have cool cars coming out of Detroit. Just horsepower. New technology is now new kid on the block. Sad, sad, sad. Robert All said, talking about older cars, I was driving down the coast last weekend and another driver gave me a thumbs up whilst I was driving my 25-year-old Ford V8, which you don't see a lot of now on the roads here in Australia. I'm usually the one giving the thumbs up to other cars, LOL.
Nice.
We've got Bob Frizz joining us. We got to catch up with Bob a little bit after the broadcast last week. Or no, awesome. It was Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm. Good to hear from him. Mike Souther, Speed and Shine TV. I'm a YouTube certified mechanic. I think Johnny got a certification too.
I'm working on it.
Craig Banks said gas now ain't 68 cents a gallon like mid 60s era. An era of cars has just disappeared in 20 more years. People I know now will all be gone. Where will the old hot rods go? That's a whole nother episode, because I think Johnny's got some you've already talked about this. Where did some of the hot rods go? Some of the famous ones seem to be just
not even famous, but listen, that statement is a great segue into one of the things we want to talk about, not just this online purchase thing, but go ahead and read that last comment and then we'll get into it.
So we got Clarence Oliver joining us. Welcome, sir. He said, we need to, as older farts, need to reach out to the younger guys and teach them like we got taught by our peers.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I wonder what the breakdown is that's happened in the transitioning between keeping the culture and the hobby alive and how do we continue to keep young folks maybe wanting to get involved. I think it definitely starts with when they come to car shows or cruise-ins, that we are super open and very ready to share and encourage them to sit in the cars. And I mean, I got to imagine every one of you that are out there listening and watching this, at some point you sat in that first old car and rode in it, and you just went, I got to get me one of these, whatever it was. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing too. School is very persuasive, and what's being taught is what is going to stick with some of these young people.
Sure.
We were up at the Detroit Autorama this last year, and how many kids did we see? There was some kind of automotive program at the local schools.
It was like a tech school. Mm-hmm.
And they brought these kids in. There were hundreds of kids milling around, looking at stuff. Just like, I mean, a few that stopped at our booth were just so excited to be a part of the Detroit Autorama. It was this big deal to them to go. Those kids, I don't know of any type of program. I'm sure there's got to be some around here, but I don't know of any type of program in our area. And maybe because this was the Motor City we were in, that it was kind of a highlight up there. But it was great to see. And there were just so many young people super involved in the car culture. They were dressing the part and they knew what they were talking about. And it was really impressive. I haven't run into any of those people here unless it's been like family, where they come up in the family.
Right.
I've seen some kids that have grown up and come
up in the family.
I
think it definitely, I think, there's not as many programs in school, so that makes it tough. But again, I go back to the important part, which is when there's opportunity, and when you go to car shows and cruise-ins and different things like that, or even when they're just out in public and they say, "Hey, cool car." I mean, it's a slippery slope of like not turning to be a creepy person or whatever, but
you want to come sit in it,
exactly, yeah, exactly. But still doing it in a way to where we're making it available, and again, even the littler kids too, and
we've
listen,
always done that.
And listen, I'm not against those folks that have super high end cars and they put a lot of money in them, and they're very concerned about people scratching and breaking and ripping things and stuff like that. And you got to be very careful and stuff like that. So I know that there's those things. You've put your heart and soul into it, and you're very leery. But for some of us, like me, for instance, I'll use myself, that doesn't have $1 million car. I'm trying to make sure every opportunity, just because again, to continue to talk about the culture as far as automotive in general, so that people who have heard and gotten this bad taste in their mouth as far as what the car culture is all about, and that these are just gas guzzling vehicles and they're junk driving on the road and they're bad for the environment and all these things, that these people that maybe aren't necessarily car people can see that the folks that are caretakers of these old pieces of history take it seriously and really put passion and time into them to make sure that they're safe and that they are fun and all that kind of stuff too. But we're approachable people.
Yeah.
We're approachable people.
I don't think anything about the cars we've let people in has been safe. Our cars have been rust buckets. I've been concerned people.
I didn't mean tetanus shot safe. I meant as far as like, they're not going to get like a something driving through their cut or something, whatever.
No. Sam Metro joining us. One of the best ways of getting the younger generation into our hobby lifestyle is to bring the car shows to the schools. I've been doing this for 16 years. Yes. Yeah.
Sam, actually contacted me, and we've been talking, and I'm hoping to get involved. They do Sam is a teacher, and up in his area, they do a thing where they invite automotive people to their school and allow the kids to just immerse themselves in the car stuff and ask questions and do that kind of stuff. We're actually hoping to also to maybe do some sort of an art thing with design of car and talk about that kind of stuff, get a little more into the meat and potatoes of what it is, hot rodding and different things like that, and really give them some insight on that. It's just more than just a car sitting there and people pouring money into it so that it looks cool. There's decisions made, there's thinking, processing, math, design, all these kinds of things that go into building not just a $1 million hot rod, but guys that just start, mechanicking and fabricating in their garages, or making choices of even customization, are making decisions and, budgeting and all that kind of stuff. And it's all attainable. And so I think sometimes maybe they think it's out of their grasp too.
And I think it starts with the bicycle. Remember, we were talking about
Sure,
that.
but bicycling isn't a thing that kids do a lot of nowadays. It's
That's
all
true. They
so.
probably
I
don't
mean,
have
you
bikes.
gotta touch them where they do, and
You
they
don't
do.
want to touch them.
So that's why I need you there to make sure I don't say words like that.
Exactly.
I just
want to touch all of you kids.
Yeah, I just want to touch your kids, folks. Johnny Jalabi's got a big old heart for all your kids. Yeah, that'll be someone take a snippet of that, put that on a short.
Paul
Anyway.
Marziani said this Saturday night test and tune at Bradenton Motorsports
Nice.
Park. We had 130 cars. We need to go do this.
We do.
Weekend.
Let's go.
Oh my God. Well, once rainy season's over. Paul, is it year round down there?
Rainy season.
Is it year round? Let us know if we can go in the fall.
It's all the time.
Craig Banks said, meet Joe Martin of Martin Brothers at he met him at a Hot Rod Nationals this year. Great family and car creator, still around building batching cars. Maybe bitching cars?
Probably bitching.
Yeah. Sam said,
he seems like a cool guy.
We do the car show as part of the teach-in, which is the old way of saying career day.
Nice.
Yes,
that's cool.
Awesome.
That's very cool.
Our buddy Clyde Hensley from the Detroit area. Hello. Welcome, sir. Good to see you on. We miss all you guys up there. Craig said, where did auto class go from the high schools? I love taking that class in the mid 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Probably with the art classes. Everything has been super limited. All these electives have really been cut down. If it's not computer programming
I don't even know what they offer as far as electives in school anymore. And tech stuff like that is just not. I don't think they even have wood shop.
The home ec classes now are how do you order Uber Eats?
I don't even think they're doing home ec. I mean,
how do you order Uber Eats?
Yeah. I heard you the first time. It wasn't that funny.
Get a degree. It is funny. Richard Hahn said, not enough hands-on stuff, too much techno. Yeah, that seems to be the trend. Matt Williams said, good evening, fellow gearheads.
Hey, what's going on?
I've never been called that before.
You are a gearhead in so many ways.
I've been called airhead.
Yeah, well, it's similar.
Craig said, not having old car junkyards around hurts too.
Yes, I agree with
that. Scrapped and are now condos sitting on that area. We still have a few. We have a couple.
It's not the same, and it's all full of new stuff. It's not, it's hit or miss to find something that's got anything old in it.
He said, where or who can do Barris custom cars at that level of building anymore?
There's still builders around that could definitely, handle it. There's a lot of techniques and stuff that, like if anybody's following on YouTube right now, Chip Foose just found, he didn't find, some people contacted him, two brothers of their dad's old, I think it's like a 54 Pontiac or something like that was a Barris custom that made magazines and stuff like that, and is still in the condition it was when it was rolled out of the Barris shop.
Nice.
And Chip is now trying to restore it back to its heyday without restoring it. That's so cool. It's been really fun to follow along on that. So if you follow Chip Foose's webpage, it's a really cool little thing he's got going on right now, and it's a super cool. Dean Jeffries did the paint job on it, so sick car. It's really neat, and the history behind it's really cool.
Yeah. Let's talk about.
I love. I can hear your wheels turning. How do I segue into the next?
No, because we were talking about.
Pull your clipboard out. Yeah. Next topic.
We have topics. So we were talking about what are some, and Johnny actually just went through his Instagram feed and pulled off just a few.
YouTube feed.
YouTube subscriptions to see who he's subscribing to. What are some of the current?
There's and really what's so the topic again, where are all the car shows gone? And someone said, it was Paul that said there's still 50 some car shows on Motor Trend.
Oh, I think that was
that
Howard.
Okay, yeah. Howard Pierpont said. So there's still a ton but to be honest, every time I've gone on, even the last little bits of watching the Motor Trend channel, nothing against Motor Trend. Listen, I was a part of it for a little bit. There isn't that many shows as it seems like there was in the beginnings of all this. in the Velocity days and in the early days of Motor Trend and Hot Rod
Discovery,
TV, the Discovery Channel, and there was all these different
PBS
builds and shows and different stuff like that. And I know as car enthusiasts, there was a bunch that we loved and there was a ton that we hated. And I know that's probably a lot of the reason why there's not as many as there were before, because they just didn't cut the mustard as far as the viewer. We liked it for the beginnings of it. We're like, it's car TV. It's cars on TV. They're doing hot rod stuff. And the more and more it got involved and less car people were involved in it, it became something that we were like, this is not how we do car stuff.
So right now you're currently watching, obviously.
This is the short list of the current, some of the current automotive stuff that I have been following on YouTube, or I'm subscribed to. So of course, our good buddy over there, Full Custom Ian, is one of the shows. Wheels Through Time is a motorcycle building YouTube channel. So it's a not only old vintage motorcycles, but it's an actual museum. The Mad Fabricators, these guys have been doing videos since the 90s and stuff like that, and have videoed a bunch of different things way back in the, it's way back. But that's kind of the beginnings of the second or third generation of this hot rod trend. But great episodes over there. Of course, Foos on TV, Paul Shin is some Model A guy that does a phenomenal job of teaching Model A history and background, how to work on them. Oak Swamp is a guy over in Europe, the UK, that builds some really cool out of his little shed garage that I follow. Super cool builder. Bikes and Beards, Main A's, Iron Trap Garage is another one I've been following for a long time. Of course, I always check out Jay Leno's, see what he's got going on. Otis Payton's, Wired Custom, Vice Grip Garage. This Old Hot Rod is another one of my favorite ones, where he's a home builder, home garage builder guy. DD Custom Speed Shop, Between the Sharks Garage, Seattle Speed Shop. I've really just started following. The Welder Up, of course. Rat Rod Bob is this old guy from, I think he's from Florida or Georgia or something like that. And he built some phenomenal garage stuff too. Just this guy who's been filming since, it feels like, the beginnings of kind of where automotive YouTube channel started, and it's got some really cool stuff. Whoops.
So those are just and then
of course occasionally just to watch and see things and take note is I watch Bad Chat as well.
So a few.
Yeah,
there's a few, and that's not even all.
And then
of them.
Sketchy Live on Mondays, and also a really cool channel that you might want to follow.
Now
like and subscribe.
Were these people, like, I know Jay Leno was on TV, obviously Ian was on TV, Foos was on TV before. So were some of these on TV and now they're strictly doing YouTube?
Most of these guys are non-TV guys.
Okay.
That I've been following. They're just home builders.
Okay.
But a lot of them are getting famous. And what I'm starting to see the trend of, and is somebody was saying, where are all these old hot rods going to come from and go and stuff like that. The big hot trend right now on YouTube and stuff is what they're calling "Will It Run" videos.
Yeah,
I've been caught up in them. I've watched multiples of these channels where they basically buy a car sight unseen, fly to said location with a bag of tools, if any. Obviously, some money in their pocket. They buy the car, they get in the car, and they drive it 500-600 miles, and then video the whole thing. The trials and tribulations of figuring out, all the things I'm doing with Rose in the garage, and the little things we had happen on the previous weekend and stuff. That's going on, and then they got to figure out how to get it going on the side of the road and keep going to their location.
FYI, I was totally going to video that, but you were pretty upset. I didn't want to capture it.
No, I was not. You need to take that back, because
you were not happy.
I was not happy, but I was not upset. In fact, I even said to you,
this is all part of it.
This is all part of it. And don't look at me like I'm going to give you answers right now, because I'm trying to figure it out.
I know. I didn't want to video it because I didn't feel you'd be comfortable with me capturing the moment of frustration.
It would have been fine.
Okay. Well, now I know.
You need to be videoing all the time, but you don't. Too busy making selfies.
That's what I do.
I know it's what you do.
That's what I
Thank
do.
God you take pictures, or we would nobody.
Right.
We
You wouldn't
know.
remember anything.
You're right. I wouldn't.
So we did look up some of the car shows that, like, even ones that I remember that are no longer.
Yeah.
So
if you can think of some of your favorite car shows, if we, we're gonna talk about a few of these, and of course these were the YouTube ones, but these aren't the ones that were on TV. So these are a few of the shows that I remember, and this list is very small, and especially if there's 50 more available, still going.
So Craig Banks said Chip is doing a great job of cleaning up, not restoring the Bears car. Hats off to you, sir.
Yeah, it's it's really cool how he's doing it.
Mike Sadler said, hard to get a show to network TV. Yeah, that's probably a problem for some people now.
Very true. Very true.
John Wilkins, Bello Customs is a great fabricator on YouTube. Make It Custom is great too. So
I will definitely take a look at that. Yeah.
Craig said Saturday morning car shows on TV are gone. By the wayside, bring back Horsepower TV. I've never heard of that one.
So Horsepower TV was like another network kind of thing. Kind of like I said, Hot Rod TV. It had, I think, a few shows under its thing.
Gotcha. Craig said, most of you guys are still young. I ain't, so I instead go fishing now and enjoy what life is. What life is left. My hot rod going to the local drag strip is overseeing Big Daddy and Swamp Rat.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So a couple of the shows that we remembered being on.
Yeah.
Car Crazy, which my buddy Barry McGuire, which I got to meet at Autorama last year.
You were so excited.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love the guy. Love his smile.
That's
what I
favorite.
said to him. Yeah. Car Crazy. So that was 2002 to 2015.
Yep.
One of the sources I found had said, and this, what I loved about his show is that he would travel. So he wasn't doing any of the stuff. I mean, he had his products he was selling,
right,
but he wasn't doing any of the tinkering.
He just was the sponsor of the show, and because it was under McGuire's waxes, but yeah, he would show up and they would visit a shop, or they would see somebody cool, or they would
go to a car show.
Yeah, and they would do his thing, and it was so cool. Like that's how you got to see what was going on out there in the culture.
And he would just interview somebody, and the entire time that person was talking about their car, the smile on this guy's face, and he's shaking his head. Oh my God, so supportive.
Yeah,
I love Barry McGuire. Barry, if you're listening,
yeah, that would be amazing.
I love you.
Hashtag.
I just think he's the nicest
we love Barry.
guy. I hope. I really hope
he was very sweet to you.
He was.
The quick second that you
gave me a hug
for a picture, he was very kind and said, "Of course."
Yeah, very nice guy. So that's one that we don't see anymore now. I'm not sure if he has something on YouTube. I would imagine he's somewhere on YouTube doing something. Yeah. He's too good to not be doing something. Motor Week, and I don't remember this one. 1981 to present.
Show.
To present.
Yeah.
Still going. The host, John Davis, which you said you looked it up, the recent ones, and it's the same guy, right?
Yeah, same exact guy from the beginning. And it basically was your another cool way of doing research on new cars that were going to be coming out, new technologies, old technologies. They would do where they'd take a car and they'd have it for 4 or 5 weeks, and they would drive it around, and then they would tell you, hey, we thought this car was great, or this one didn't do great.
So like reviews almost.
Basically reviews, yes. Huh. And it was just really cool because they got into the nuts and bolts of different stuff. And then they might have a feature car, and then they might go to a car show thing. But it was like a half-hour show, I think. It was really fast, but I loved that show because it was how you got to see all when the new Corvette changed, and you're like, oh man, the Z06 is so cool, or the new Mustangs, or
not really classic stuff then, or
no, it was
all new stuff.
It was all modern vehicles, but it was still neat. It was still neat.
Of course, our buddies over at Top Gear.
Yeah, our good buddies over at Top Gear.
like they're our buddies.
The way you said that. I know. We're close and friends with them.
I feel like
Jeremy Clarkson.
I feel like I knew them because
Captain Slow.
These were real life adventures of these guys.
Yeah.
And that's what I found so entertaining about it is they're just being silly. Like the one guy always got in trouble. They're like, why is he doing this? Like, I feel like they didn't like him actually because they were like, he's at it again.
Hey, Craig Banks got also getting Car Crazy mixed up with, just like I did my classic car.
With the mustache. Yeah.
I did the same thing. Yeah, that's Barry McGuire's the cheesy grin, no mustache. And what you're thinking of, I think, is the same. Is my classic car with Dennis Gage.
Wesley Wilkerson said Motor Trend's Roadkill show.
Yeah,
You can look it
Roadkill's
up.
I don't know why I had such a hard time getting into that show, but the guys are really cool and so knowledgeable, and the things that they do are pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe because of, and again, here's my problem. It's a lot of big horsepower and muscle car type stuff. Not always, but a lot of times. And for me, that's always been kind of a hard. Not that I don't love them or like them. I'm just always my gearing is more towards hot rods and different stuff like that. But those guys build some cool, amazing, neat stuff and crazy things they do. And I all the every time I watched the show, I really liked it. I just don't know why I didn't like become a super follower of that show.
Oh,
But still,
to
it's
each
still on
his
show,
own.
and it's still on. So
Craig Banks says, what is the past to you guys? Is it 15 years or 25 years or 50 years? Even though Johnny is not
an
a
old
senior
man?
citizen,
Well, almost.
I
got my
Some would beg to differ.
AARP.
His mentality still lives back in the 50s, even though he wasn't born yet. So for him, the past, I think, is that era. Like, I think that's an era that you connect with quite a bit.
40s, 50s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Yeah.
He said
60s.
Motor Trend TV was cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wesley Wilkerson said, find a car at some junkyard and take it on a cross-country road trip. Fix everything that goes wrong along the way.
Yep.
Yeah, that was kind of the mentality of it.
That's the Will It Run videos, what basically is designed. Yep.
Robert Earl said we had a show in Australia called Car Torque or Talk. It ran for years in the 70s, and it probably got me into the world of classic cars.
Yep.
That's cool. Sam Metro said Rust Valley Restorers and Counting Cars were pretty good shows as well.
Yep, we have Counting Cars on here. The Rust Valley is one I missed.
Craig said we need 2-lane blacktop 2.0 movie and maybe a California Kid 2.0 also.
It'd be hard to. How do you listen? I agree. It would be super cool for them to bring some of those movies back, but how would you do it? And the problem is that if you took that to a studio today and said, "Hey, we'd like to make a 2-lane blacktop 2.0," immediately transportation's going to say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a brand new Camaro and we're going to make it look like paint it the same paint scheme as the 55. And that's how we're going to do 2-lane blacktop. Or the California Kid, they're like, okay, we're not going to use the 34 Ford. What are we going to use? Oh, let's use this Ford Mustang, and it'll be something new, and it just won't make it as cool.
You never know until you try.
Now, unless they did it, if they could remake it and try to remake it with the old cars, Johnny's in.
So Top Gear, going back, originally 1977 to 2001, it was a BBC show.
Yeah.
And then I guess the one that I'm familiar with was the one that started in 2002, ran until 2015.
Yep.
They were still in England.
Yeah.
Mostly.
But they would actually come over the pond and do stuff in America too, but mostly, and then the transition of where you'd have American movie stars and stuff would go and be on their show and drive the cars and do the thing. Right. And so it was still it was neat because it was an inclusive, and again, not a old car show. It was about new modern speed sports car type stuff. But the way they did it, I had an appreciation for the way they did it, and those guys did like old cars.
Yeah. American Hot Rod, only 5 seasons with Boyd Coddington, and that was on TLC and Discovery.
Yep.
So those were some of the networks that were showing.
Was kind of the beginning of the not the beginning of it was the beginning of actual automotive, where they went into a shop. And it was the day-to-days and kind of
so that was like a trendsetter for that type of thing.
Automotive version of Orange County Choppers kind of thing. And it was all the drama and all that. But it started the trend of making shows and people watched it. And I was one of those people. But if you ask most fans of the show or even people who hated it, the part that they started getting annoyed with as car people were like, don't make fake drama. Just make it real. So if
there's enough drama to be real.
Exactly. But you could tell when the drama was fabricated. Oh, the part didn't come in. Now the build's 2 days later type stuff. Or the part that got a little annoying for myself was is here's these super amazing fabricators and builders, and they were ordering a lot of parts. But now that I know the behind the scenes, I get why they were doing it.
Yeah.
Because by the time when the reveal day was, which was the crescendo of the episode was the reveal of the car that you had seen them working on, it had to be amazing. So corners would get cut and those kinds of things. TV car building versus real life building is two totally separate things.
We had Overhauling, Chip Foose's show.
Yep, was a big fan of that.
Motor Trend and TLC.
Prayed every week that my car would be missing.
Be chosen, yeah.
No, it'd be missing out of my front yard, and then go, please let Chip Foose start doing something to it.
2004 to 2020 for his show. And that was kind of the era of like the Pimp My Ride. And like there were a bunch of guys jumping on this bandwagon of let's
but Overhauling
do the surprise,
which was cool. Overhauling, because Pimp My Ride was a big thing and that was popular, but it was a lot of weird, goofy shit going on. Where
unusable features.
Where Foose, the cool part that I think as a fan of that show, you out there that probably watched it too, the part that you thought was cool is most of the cars when they were picking them, you could had this whole story where the guy tried to work on it. It ends up in his garage. It's been sitting for 3 or 4 years. You're like, oh man, or 10 years or whatever. The wife's like, he keeps saying he's going to work on it, but it just stays out there and he doesn't ever seem to sell it.
I have cried at the end of all of those episodes. What I'm saying.
So there's all these cool stories. And then the guy sees his dream car missing one day. And everybody, now the cops are involved and da-da-da-da. And then he shows up at the end and there's his dream come to real life with a Chip Foose flair. And again, I love Chip as a fabricator and builder and designer and artist and all that kind of stuff. And I know for TV, sometimes it got a little monotonous of the same two-tone paint job thing that he was doing for a little while. And,
just not your flavor. That's okay.
I didn't like that so much towards the end. But hey, he was doing what he was doing. And but it was still, as far as the show is concerned, I still watched it, all the episodes.
Yeah. Hot Rod TV. 2007. That was on for 7 seasons. ESPN of all networks to pick that one up. Crazy.
Monster Garage.
Monster Garage was a big one. Now, did he only did the bikes, Jesse?
No, Monster Garage was everything.
Oh, it was.
And it was mostly cars.
Okay.
During Monster Garage, but again, same different premise of where he got he put a team together and then they would come up with a theme and like we're gonna build this. So they built some crazy stuff, and then if it didn't go, he'd blow it up and all this kind of stuff. So it was a neat show because it was like real fabricating and real building and stuff like that. And but same thing, after a little bit, you kind of saw where you could see the kind of the fake drama getting thrown in it and people getting pissed off at each other. And it was great. It was great TV.
It's so funny that you say it, because
the non-car fan, but I think the car fan saw through all that stuff.
It's exactly how like I watch HGTV.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Oh, it's happening now.
When they're in a redesign situation, we only have 2 days. They're coming back from vacation. What are we going to do? Things aren't ready. The paint's not dry. Same thing.
It's happening.
And then again, depending on who's doing it, the same finishes. Oh, we're going to go with the white backsplash again. Oh, we're going with, you know what I mean?
Shiplap.
Yeah.
We're going to shiplap the shiplap out of it.
Chip and Joanna, I love you.
Yeah, but no, but again,
it's a ton of
understanding again the way TV gets put together. It was, how can we produce a cool looking end result and cut corners and get it done, because they do only have so much time and there is only so much money to be spent. But and then it's a TV show, so you got to keep the viewer excited and pumped up. Like right now, if we just went into a brawl and started fighting with that, it'd probably be a lot more exciting.
It has happened. In fact, 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. But I'm trying to be on my best behavior and get along with you. And even though you're saying a lot of shit that isn't true, but whatever, it's all good.
Mike Sadler said Cuban Chrome was limited, but the work they did to keep old cars on the road was amazing.
Oh yeah. That was a
Craig Banks said American Graffiti 2.0. Can that one be redone? I don't know. We've talked about that
That'd be a
before.
tough one. I don't think
Yeah.
you could redo American Graffiti.
Clyde Hensley said Monster Garage. Yep, we had that on the
Yeah.
list. Blue Bear was a great kid to watch on Boyd's show, Craig said.
Yeah, there were some great characters on all these different shows, and a lot of guys got their own businesses. Again, Chip Foose worked for Boyd Coddington in the early days, and that's how he got his name out there and stuff like that. So, but there was a lot of different people that have been on different shows and things, and did
And everybody's on YouTube now.
little spin-offs, or you'd see him and then it was that guy and that guy from that show and two guys from this other show, and then they'd have a new show, and we would watch it because it was another automotive show.
Rob Earl said, totally agree with you, Johnny, about the TV scripted drama on some of these car shows. I just fast forwarded that stuff.
It's hard, and I get it. Again, I get it. And again, a behind the scenes inside baseball approach is, the show that I was fortunate enough to be on for a little bit. That was Ian's big reason why he didn't become the mega superstar as big as some of these other guys, is because he refused. He's like, I don't want that. I don't want fake drama. If something goes wrong, it'll just go wrong, and then we'll figure out how to fix it.
Right.
But I don't want to pretend something goes wrong or add stuff that went wrong.
He's a very calm, cool, collected dude.
Sure, and he handles pressure and mistakes. And so a lot of this, kudos to Brooks and his brother in the editing bay of trying to put together a show that didn't have fake drama and still create a really cool story with the shows, because people thought they were good and people still watch them and still want more and things like that. It's so. It is possible to do a show without the fake drama. But I think like sponsorship and bringing in other things, maybe it just doesn't. You don't get as many outside viewers.
Maybe
like you're getting the full people that love to build and fabricate and are learning and want to learn from the show. But just somebody like, not using you as an example, but say if you just sat down and was like, oh, what's this? And you saw the drama, and go, oh, this was interesting. And you have no idea or care about cars, kind of like I am with your HG. I watch for a little bit, and then as soon as the drama comes, I'm like, I'm over it. Oh, it'll ship up again? Nice.
Dan Evans said they always had unrealistic deadlines. Yeah, and I don't know how much of that was true. I mean, I'm sure some of it was they had deadlines that they needed to meet, but
well, in building cars, there's always deadlines, and that's the hard part.
They just really played it up.
Well, yes and no, because again, for instance, in the show that Ian would sometimes be trying to finish 3 cars in a matter of 3 months, and that's 3 full builds from like ground level. And then, then you would hear the naysayers go, oh, this episode, he only did this or that. And it wasn't as much fat. And it's like, because he had 2 other cars that are like in the end of the last season that he's still finishing up in the midst of. So there's a lot of juggling. And I imagine in the big shows, with the high dollar budgets and things like that, even though they had, which is again, like I loved Orange County Choppers in the beginning. It was, and then when it
spiraled out of control.
Well, but because they were building stuff and they were doing these themes and there was these things that were happening, which was cool. And again, but then when the TV thing started happening, you could see it was they were fabricating, but there was a lot of, hey, we're gonna order these wheels from that guy and an engine from that guy, and and they were building the bike parts, but a lot of the majors were getting purchased, and some other car shows kind of did that too. But I understand why though. Now I totally understand why. It's time, and you only have so much time, and you got to get to the end of the story by a set amount of time.
Right. Craig Banks said Johnny's a cool artist. Bring back cartoons, please.
It's already out there. You don't need me.
He said
Cartoons Magazine is out and available.
True car TV show without drama was the Dukes of Hazzard. Love those Daisy Dukes and Boss Hog. Well, that had nothing to do with the cars.
It was a good car show though. That and Knight Rider. All those are great shows.
Well, we had a couple more to go over, but we're already at our hour here, so we're probably going to need to wrap.
We'll throw it in there. Wheeler Dealers. We got 2 guys garage chasing classic cars, of course, and then of course one of my favorites, Dennis Gage at the old My Classic Car with the big mustache. That was a great show. Loved that show.
And we had a list of magazines.
And that was the thing, the car shows went away, and it feels like so did the magazines.
Everything's online.
So, Do you remember these magazines? Hot Rod Magazine, Street Rodder Magazine, Carcraft, Rod and Custom, Hot Rod Deluxe, Popular Hot Rodding, Hot Rodding, Rods and Restyling, Rods. Motor Trend had a magazine as well.
Some of them are still out. Some of them
Custom
are still
Rodder,
available.
modern rodding, Speed Mechanics. And what are some of your favorite magazines that aren't out and about? And the love of the magazine was that you got to see pictures, and so if a build was getting done out in California and you lived on the East Coast, you could see what the trends were.
That was before the internet.
Yeah. And now it's available everywhere.
Everything is online,
which is where we go back to the YouTube channels that are out there and being created. You can watch them in real time getting built, and those are the interesting things. So again, I would highly recommend some of these YouTube channels that I've been subscribed to, and I'll read you some of my favorites again, just to throw them out there, and hey, give them a like and a subscribe, because they're really interesting shows, and I've been having a heck of a time watching them. Of course, my good buddy over there, Full Custom Ian, has got 10, 15 different projects he's juggling right now.
So many things going on.
And they're just doing an amazing job over there. Him and Jamie have really put together a really great YouTube channel. And I would highly recommend checking that one out. Of course, Mad Fabricators is a great, lot of, he's working on the car that ate my brain, which is a him and, I'm missing his name right now. Doggone it. Anyways, he's doing a rebuild of the Tweety Pie, Ed Roth's Tweety Pie, and it's really cool build. So go check that one out. Oak Swamp Garage, the gentleman over there over the pond is building some really amazing little. Doing it with British cars, old Fiat bodies and different things like that, and utilizing what he's got overseas, and building some really cool stuff, all out of his garage with different, garage parts and different things he's finding at swap meets and different things like that. Really neat cars. He's already built a couple cars, so go check that out. Iron Trap Garage is another one of my favorite ones. Let's see what else. Seattle Speed Shop's cool. And there's some others. But yeah, go check them out. They're some really cool ones. There's great stuff over there. And again, if you have an opportunity and you're on YouTube now and you found us or a short or something like that, johnjalabi.com and the YouTube channel.
For sure.
Head on over to that.
Yeah, go check us out over there. Likes and loves, share the broadcast, share the page with your friends. We've got holidays coming up. We're trying to raise some money for this art show for when we go out. We want to bring some merchandise with us. Johnny's got some work to do. We still have projects that we're still trying to get done. We hope to create some more content for you there and put that on YouTube. We've been trying to utilize YouTube as much as we can.
Yep.
In fact, Johnny's project in the next couple of weeks is going to be to go through some of our older episodes and pick out some shorts and clips that we can post over there, so you guys can get some little snippets without having to dedicate the whole hour to watching.
Some cool stuff over there.
But yeah, sure. we have so much content in the last 7 years, and some of you people who are just now newly following us may not even realize all of this is available. So we do have most of those on YouTube, and of course on the website we have a link to pretty much every Sketchy Live for the last 7 years that we've done on Monday nights.
Let me see if it'll let me share my screen.
We'll see. Rob Earl said, one thought, what happens to all the things online when the internet gets accidentally unplugged? Somebody must have a backup somewhere, I would imagine.
It all goes away.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
So there's our YouTube channel there.
Yes.
Lots of videos to watch.
Lots of fun things.
Lots of fun things to watch if you want to see.
We've got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, we took Rose out for a cool little drive around some areas.
Mm-hmm.
Little talk about the finding her. There's a good one on the Kona build.
The Kona build. We did a couple lives out there. And those were really cool. We had a lot of people really interested in what you were doing with the project. So
yeah, you can go back to it when we really first started our YouTube podcast. There's the possibilities are.
Oh my goodness!
There's where it started.
My little beanie.
Your micro beanie. So yeah, there's lots of cool stuff over there. Oops.
How
Go
fun.
back to
Blast from the
screen
past.
sharing. There we go.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to head out for the night. We appreciate you stopping by and chatting with us. We had some really great fan interaction tonight, so I'm excited.
Don't forget to head over to johnnyjalabi.com where we got hats, stickers, t-shirts, all kinds of artwork that's available for you to check out, and links to the videos of as we were drawing it live. So you can
Yes.
check that out. And of course, every Friday we do a featured t-shirt of the week. That's where you can check it out. That happens on my YouTube channel, or sorry, on my Facebook channel, and also the Instagram page.
Mhm.
And of course, when we do drawing, we are official sketchable artisan, and we're proud of that. So we sure appreciate you hanging out with us. And don't forget to hang out with us next Monday at 9:30 Eastern is when we start this thing. And we hope to see you there.
Yes.
And let me clear this out and get back to that. And we sure appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Great show, Eddie B.
It was, yes.
Good topics.
All
I don't know
right,
if we
guys.
got anywhere with it.
Well, I think we had a lot of, like I said, a lot of people were chiming in. So it was great to hear from you. And I feel like our views of things are, we're not the only ones thinking that way.
Yeah.
So I think it was good.
Yeah, for
All
sure.
right, guys. Well, have a great week. And as always,
Stay sketchy.
stay
We'll see you next
sketchy.
week.
Bye.